Today is a very special day because it is my birthday, which is crazy because I'm recording this on a day that's not my birthday, but this video is coming out on my birthday. Hi, and happy birthday to me. I actually just got this in the mail and I never do unboxings. Let's see, I already know what it is, but oh, that's actually a surprise. These boxes are so fun to open. They have these tabs and both sides just broke. I'll get there. All right. I pre-ordered this. Way back, I reviewed the second book on here for you guys. Oh, it's so pretty. Look it, this is like perfect for autumn. C is for courting. This is the Amish ABCs, which I'm guessing there are only 3 books that they're going to do for ABCs. I don't know if they're doing a 4th or not, going through the whole alphabet. That would be interesting. But yes, I've been very much looking forward to this, and it's just so nice. I will be reading this probably next week. I'm about to finish a couple books, and I have a book I'm going to start, so we'll see because I have a busy weekend. We are going to Connecticut for just a couple days as a family, so I probably will get little to no reading done during that time, which will be kind of weird. Probably in my next video, you'll see me review that because that's just how I am. But today, this is going to be a shorter video, so it's easier for me to edit in time because there are books that I have finished, but I'm not going to review them till next week. I'm going to start with a book that just came out that I also had pre-ordered that had arrived. I read it and now my husband is reading it. He has the physical book, but I have the book cover, so I'll just use the book cover because he took the book to work with him to read. So my husband and I have been reading this series. Of the way this finished, it just seems like there won't be any more. This is The Demon and the Light. This is the second book in the Floating World series. So in the first book, The Floating World, it's about this acrobatic circus type of performer. She has this uncle who gets poisoned by some crazy demon. These are creatures that have been known to cause a lot of chaos, and she wants to find an antidote for her uncle. And her uncle is very young. He's only about 17 or so. So on her adventure, she meets this one young man. So her name is Ren. His name is Sunho. And he lives in the underground. She is from just the above world, but then there's a floating world. There's something about that floating world. So that comes up a little bit more in this one because they are mainly on the floating world in this. For this book, their stories continue. There's also Jail, who his story is, he's one of the other perspectives. Some sort of general officer. I can't think of exactly his title. That's all I'll say about who he is. There's more to it. So the 3 of them have their perspective that you're learning about. We learn a little bit more about her background, Ren's background. And now in the first book, she had some sort of magic. And in this one, that magic continues as she's learning how to control it. And he has been learning how to control something that happened to him that you find out in the first book. So they're both learning how to control things while also caring for one another. I feel like this book, the series in general, it has potential and it's good, but it's slow here and there. This book I liked better than the first book. Now, there were 5 bad words in this. It's light language. So it's not the intense type. For a warning, so this is not a Christian book at all. Yeah, I'm going to call this a fantasy, but it's got science fiction elements to it. And there is love in this, but it's not intense. Now, for content wise, I need to express this to me has a slight spice factor, and the first book had nothing. There is nudity and there is some sort of touching that goes on briefly, but I don't understand what they mean by it. I don't know if they mean that they're touching here. Just based off of how it's described, I'm confused. So there might be, that's all there is. There is a little bit of a slight background story about 2 guys also falling in love. I like to give that as an awareness because I feel as a Christian, most people do not want to read that kind of content. I feel it's important to know because a lot of people just want to read a story about a straight couple that they could relate to. And then there are people that want to read about LGBTQI plus that they could relate to. This one, I didn't see anything stating that. I wasn't expecting it as well, but that part is clean. I struggled really liking this book. It took me a little longer to get through than some other books. And my husband is like, come on, get to, because he was ready to read it. He's like, come on, I want to read this. I finished my book. And I'm like, it's been 4 days. He's like, that's a long time for you. And I said, that's my limit is 1 to 4 days. So I'm like, chill, I'll get it to you. Anyway, I finished it on the 4th day, but it was tough because I could have taken longer but I pushed myself a little bit. I think the writing style is what needs a little bit of fixing. There are portions of their story that I really like. That there's a part where she talks to her ancestors. I loved that part. That was the best part of the whole book, was she had these interactions with them, and the way it happened was pretty cool. But there were these fight scenes, and I'm trying to figure it out. There's lots of war and violence in this book, but I couldn't understand, like, I'm trying to visualize these fight scenes, and sometimes it's like they went too quickly, and other times it's like, let me reread this because I'm a little confused by how this is, and then I'm like, all right. Towards the end, I feel like I could understand it a little bit better. So yes, it's not a bad book, but that's my review of this brand new book. Next, I want to talk about Homecoming. It was another slow book. Very, very, very slow. So slow. This is about a family has this tragedy that takes place. They make a point about it early on. This entire family is gone, but there is a missing baby that they could never find. And then there's this young woman in the future. So they keep going back to the past, and then they move into the future, a journalist who wants to learn about this story because she is going to her sick grandmother. Her sick grandmother's name is Nora. Her name is Jess. So Jess keeps going to Nora, and she sees this book about this case, and she's like, oh, so we even get insight to this book, like parts of the book. It is in this book. We go back to this family and all of their history, and then what happens to them. And then we also get a little bit of insight about people around them, neighbors and things like that. And we also get the story of Nora's past, her daughter Polly's past, and then her daughter Jess's current self. But not a lot about Jess, mainly about her mother and her grandmother and this family and how they are connected, because her family originally came from Australia, and this story is set in Australia, and she is living in England. But this story just dragged and dragged and dragged, and it's a very long book. It's like nearly 600 pages, and it was just a yawn fest. I did not enjoy it. The story of Polly and her life, I loved it. I thought I wanted more of that. I wanted more story like that in the beginning with other people, and I wasn't drawn to it. But Polly's story, they could have carried that in. Like, there were missing elements to this, I felt. And also I hated the ending. I was like, what? I actually read the last 2 pages 2 or 3 times because I was like, that doesn't really give me enough. Here we go. It's good to tackle these books that I've been wanting to read. This is God's Table, Finding Church Beyond the Walls. This was good. It wasn't amazing, but this is very much, it reminds me of my own church in a little way. So I go to a Mennonite church, and we have a community garden where people from that live around the area could come help plant things, water it, and learn about the connection between God and these plants. And then we give them the plants when they have harvested it. So we do this every year. I have been doing it for like 40 something years. So this book has a similar thing, but the difference is this woman, she tells about her upbringing, and she has a denomination I never heard of. I can't remember the name of it. It's Swedish, starts with a B because it's in Swedish, but the Swedish denomination of Christianity, which sounds a little bit universalistic to me, but she wants to be able to start her own church in a community garden so people can learn about God. She'll give messages while they do this stuff planting, and it's a community in California. And there's a lot of homelessness, and there are a lot of people that are treated poorly because of being marginalized, people of color. And so she talks about her interactions with those people and the experience. She talks about composting and how they have like a tricycle that they collect the compost in from the community, and so that way it helps with fertilization of their crops. She also talks about a relationship that she forms. She talks about her sister. She talks about a lot about Lent at one point, where it goes on a lot, actually. Now, I don't have like the ashes. I don't celebrate Lent in such a form, but she talks about how she was going through the community into stores, asking people if they wanted to be blessed and to have, you know, the ash cross on their head for Lent. And a lot of people did, and some people cried. They were touched. And that was really beautiful to see how the gospel is being lived out, where you're going into the world and your community and trying to show love and express gratitude too. I thought this was beautiful. The whole concept was very lovely. And the last book is The Bake Shop. Let's go to my bingo card. This is the last spot, guys. I already emailed this bingo card to Chantel. I emailed her my completed bingo and I explained each book and why I put them in the spots. And she had already responded, thanking me for sending it and enjoying my description. The bake shop, this goes into books about baking and things in that regard. This is filled with lots of goodies, Amish goodies that I want to eat all of. Oh, we got whoopie pies, which my son's been after me to make. So I am going to bake some whoopie pies this coming week or two, because it was funny because while I was reading this, my one oldest son, he's like, so you're going to make whoopie pies? And I said, yeah, I have already been thinking about that while reading this book, and I told him about it. So this is a really cute story. I loved this book and I ate it up. There's a series too, so I look forward to reading the rest of these books. Christiana, she is an Amish girl, an Amish woman. She's about 25. She has this stall outside of her house where she sells her baked goods, and the business is just crazy. People are going knocking on their door. So she decides that she wants to rent a stall from a marketplace. And when she does so, she bumps, she has her cousins that work there too. They're all like, oh, you'll be with us, we'll hang out. And she's all excited about that and about having her business expanding. But there's this guy that has a stall making leathered goods and wooden goods with like initials and different things like that are personalized. And she bumps into him on the first day in an embarrassing way. She's a little bit whoops, but they end up being neighbors in their stalls. So then she has to deal with him a lot. They clash in personalities. They don't talk. They don't understand one another. They get upset with each other. So it's definitely one of those like enemies to love stories, but it's adorable. And then near like not even the second half, like the last quarter of this, and just a situation that goes on that you learn about something from her father. And I was just like, whoa, this is kind of intense. So that was pretty interesting to me, actually, how they tied that part into the story. It made for drama and it was really sad. It turned out great. So this is a happier book, definitely a good story, and I loved it. Guys, read more Amish romances. They're great. I've said it before. And I just got my C is for courting. They're great. Okay, so that is all for today. I'm going to go celebrate my birthday. As you watch this, I am 42 now, and it is such a strange thing to be 42 because I don't feel 42. If people say, do you feel 42? No, I feel like I'm still like 16, 17. I feel young. Definitely there are things that have changed. I have an adult son. So yeah. Some things it's just how it is, but I have the wisdom of a grown woman and the experiences. Yes, thank you so much for being here today on my birthday, and I hope you have an excellent week filled with fun. And because it is now November, I hope that you do something where you have maybe a whoopie pie or a baked good. Yes, to celebrate my birthday, I want you to have something baked, and you tell me what you're going to get or what you had. Bye.